Hey everyone, how's it going? Cloud here, and welcome to my guide on the all fired up mini quests. So, just to clarify, this isn't a guide for the actual quest, the all fired up quest. This is the guide for the mini quest, which can be completed once you've done that initial quest. Now, if you are needing a guide on the quest itself, click the link in the description below. So yeah, as I said, this is a mini quest that you can complete once you've done the initial all fired up quest, and it introduces you to the beacon system. So the goal of this mini quest is to light a series of beacons, which is a concept initiated by King Raoul III to make use of fires as a warning signal in the event of emergency. So in total there's 14 beacons in the beacon network, with each beacon requiring 20 unnoted logs of your choice to light it. And to complete this mini quest, players must have a firemaking level of 92 or 90 with a boost, along with several other requirements and completion of certain quests to be able to access all 14 beacons. So before I go any further, I'll go through all the requirements and items you're going to need to be able to light all of the beacons, and then I'll talk a little bit around the rewards, as you don't have to light all the beacons in one go to obtain the various rewards. However, it is easier if you wait until you can do it all as one run. So obviously you need to complete the all fired up quest, you need to have completed the land of the goblins to light the beacon in Goblin Village, you need to have started Troll Stronghold, you will need climbing boots or rock climbing boots if you're not using the Trollheim teleport, and you'll need these skill requirements: 42 construction, 56 smithing, 70 smithing or 59 construction depending on what you choose, 60 crafting, 64 agility, 31 prayer and 60 strength. Now in order to have some of the beacon keepers look after the beacons, they all have requirements as well. So you need to have completed the Garden of Tranquility for access to white tree fruits, you need to have completed the Heroes quest for Lava Eels, you need to complete Ichlaran's Little Helper for the Catspeak Amulet, and level 81 summoning is also useful for communicating with Nanook, who is the bear near the God Wars dungeon beacon. So, in order to claim and use the various rewards, you need to have done the following. So, if you have level 62 firemaking and you've lit 6 of the beacons, you will get the Ring of Fire, which will grant you 2% more experience per log. If you have level 79 firemaking and light a total of 10 beacons, you'll get the Flame Gloves, which is 2% more experience per log, and when worn at the same time as the Ring of Fire, this will grant a 5% bonus. And then finally, if you have level 92 firemaking and you light all 14 beacons, you will get the Inferno Adze, which is quite a useful item, and I'll talk about that at the end of the guide. So as I said, you can obviously go about sort of doing it as if you've only got the level to do 6 beacons, and to get the reward, obviously you can do that and then come back at a later date, and the same for obviously the Flame Gloves at level 79 and of course the Inferno Adze at 92. However, for the purpose of this guide, I'm going to walk you through as if you're going to complete all the beacons in one go, and I'll talk about each beacon's sort of requirements as we go through the guide, so then you guys can decide that if you don't have a level to do a certain beacon, you can obviously go about trying to light as many as you can in the meantime. So there's some items that are going to be required in order for you to repair a few beacons once. So you'll need 2 or 4 iron bars depending on what option you choose to repair, 3 jute fibres, 2 or 4 planks of any type, and 4 or 8 nails. There's also some recommended items which will help the keepers look after the beacons. So except for the Catspeak Amulet, these items are given away to the respective beacon keepers in exchange for their services that include tending the beacon for you and also providing you with information. And the Catspeak Amulet is required each time you wish to speak with the cat at the Burthorpe beacon who looks after it. So the items are white tree fruit, Davy Kebbit Hat, a Catspeak Amulet, and cooked or raw lava eel. Now there are some useful items in terms of the weight reduction, as you have sort of a time limit to light all the beacons, so obviously the less weight you've got, the quicker your character's going to be moving around and not using as much run energy. So I'll write all those items in the description below for you to refer to. So a little strategy: in order to make an attempt to the activity, you should do the following before completing it, just to sort of eliminate the waste of time. So all the beacons should be repaired and the keepers should be aided If you do all of that first and then go about actually filling the beacons in order from that. Now, depending on what type of log you use will depend on how long the beacon burns for. So a regular log will grant you 13 minutes, a magic log will grant you 18 minutes. So I think top of my head I used the maple or yew logs, and they have about 15-16 minutes burning time, which is plenty of time as long as you've done all the necessary repairs first. So what I'll do, I'll talk you through how to get the keepers to aid you, and also what beacons need repairing before we begin. So the first one we're going to go to, and obviously make sure you've got all the items that I mentioned that are also listed in the video description below before you go about doing this. So the first one we're going to go to is north of Varrock Palace in the wilderness. Now this beacon keeper has a requirement for a white tree fruit to be given to them, and obviously that requires you to complete the Garden of Tranquility quest, and you can get the white tree fruits from the white tree in Varrock Palace. So once you've given them the tree fruit, they will then assist you with the beacon. The next keeper is in Goblin Village, and you need to give the goblin a dark or Davy Kebbit hat in order to look after the beacon. So that's quite a simple process. Just head to the beacon, speak to them, and you'll hand that over. The next one is east of Burthorpe Castle, so you need to repair the ladder, which requires you to have 56 smithing and obviously the iron bars in your inventory, and then when you've actually fixed that, to speak with the keeper and get them to assist you, you need your Catspeak Amulet, and you'll need this when you do your actual beacon run. The next one is west of the Dark Warrior Fortress, and it requires you to repair the ladder, which has a requirement of 42 construction and obviously the relevant items. And again, for the keeper to assist you, you need to provide them with a lava eel, either raw or cooked. The next one is north of the Chaos Altar, which is a small temple in level 42 Wilderness, and you'll need either level 70 smithing or 59 construction, depending on what you choose, to repair the ladder and again the respective items. And then finally, next to the God Wars dungeon, so you need to repair the windbreak, which will require you to have level 60 crafting and some jute fibres. Now, in order for the bear to assist you, you need to have level 81 summoning for them to assist you. However, this one doesn't matter too much, as this will be one of the sort of first beacons that you will light. So actually, with the bear assisting you or not, it's not going to make a big difference. So like I said, I would go around obviously fixing all those beacons before you make it a begin. Obviously, if you don't have the level requirements or quest requirements to do that, obviously that means that's going to be one less beacon that you'll be able to light. However, it may still work out that you get enough to be able to claim one of the other rewards. So once you've done all that prep work, you'll be ready to begin. Now, just note on a few things. In order to fill the beacon, you need 20 of the same logs in your inventory, and you need to do it all in one go. You can't do it sort of in 2s and 5s, etc. It's got to be 20 logs all in one go. So make sure you've got adequate inventory room for that. I would also make sure you've got obviously any weight reducing clothing on that you can. And also any items that will grant you a quick teleportation to the bank, whether that's an explorer's ring, obviously the lodestone network if you've got the quick teleport, Draken's medallion, anything that's going to get you to a bank quickly. And also if you can use a beast of burden summon, that would be helpful as well, but obviously you need to make sure that the summon can bring 20 or more of the same type of logs, otherwise it's going to defeat the purpose of it. So you want to be able to carry as many logs as you can. So what I'm going to do, I will give you the order that I would recommend the quickest from sort of if you're planning to try and light all of the beacons. Now I will mention the beacons firemaking requirement before you go there, so if it's one you can't complete, obviously skip that one and wait for me to say about the next one, and once you're then able to start lighting the beacons, obviously you can go about doing that. So the first one we're going to go to is in the Frozen Waste Plateau. So that requires level 92 firemaking. So the easiest way to get to this one, if you use the Edgeville lever, it will teleport you to the level 52 wilderness, and then from there, if you keep heading west, it's past the agility course arena, and then you'll come across the beacon then. So once you arrive, obviously fill the beacon with all your respective logs, and then as soon as you light that, the timer is then beginning. So you've got around, depending on what obviously type of log you're using, anything from 13 to 18 minutes to try and light all of the beacons. Now if you guys are worried that you're going to not have enough time between watching this video and doing it, it might be worthwhile for you to watch the video first, note down the order I do, and then obviously go from there, but it's up to you which way you choose to use the guide. The next beacon we're going to head to is next to the small temple in the level 40 wilderness that you would have repaired earlier. This one requires level 89 firemaking. If you don't have enough logs from lighting the last one, you may need to make a trip to the bank first, but I'd recommend getting back here the same way as you got to the Frozen Place Plateau. That will be your quickest one, or if you've got things like the Lava Titan that can summon you to the Lava Maze, either way you want to head there next. The next one is east of Death Plateau, and it's only accessible from level 13 Wilderness. You want to use the Wilderness obelisks to sort of teleport you to a lower part if possible, or obviously run. You'll need 79 firemaking in order to light this one, and you should have already previously repaired the ladder and provided the keeper with an eel, Lava Eel, in order for their services. Again, if you need to make a trip to the bank, do so. Right, there's there's two beacons in the same vicinity near the Trollheim Mountain, which you can teleport to. Hopefully you've got the level to do so, otherwise that's going to be a very long walk. So the first one is near the shortcut to the wilderness, but it's accessed via Trollheim. So if you go east of the Trollheim Mountain, there's a bit where you can climb over to light the beacon, and this requires level 83 firemaking. And then the other one is northeast of the entrance to the God Wars dungeon, but again you gain access to that by going via Trollheim. So where you teleport to Trollheim Mountain, head north as if you're heading to the God Wars dungeon, and then if you go northeast of that entrance you'll see the area that you repaired the wind flute, whatever you call it, earlier. And for this one you'll need level 87 Firemaking. However, because of the stat reducing area, that will knock your Firemaking down a little bit, so obviously if it's high enough, aka 92, that should be quick enough to do it. If not, a super restore potion may be needed in order to boost your level back up, but again obviously make sure you got the relevant logs with you before you do that. So the next one we're going to is in Burthorpe, so that's the one with the cat. So if you teleport to the Burthorpe lodestone, head east from there and then climb up the ladder that you should have repaired. Make sure you got your Catspeak Amulet on in order to speak with the keeper, and again this one requires level 76 Firemaking in order to fill and light. Next one we're going to is in Goblin Village, the one that you provided the Kebbit Hat earlier to. This one requires level 72 Firemaking in order to fill and use. The quickest way to get here is teleport to the Falador Lodestone and head north to Goblin Village from there, and the beacon is northeast section of the village. The next beacon is near the Black Knight's Fortress, literally just outside the entrance. Quickest way to get to this one is to teleport to the edge of the lodestone and head from there. This one requires 68 Firemaking in order to light. On your route to that beacon, there is another one itself in Edgeville that requires 62 Firemaking, so make sure you light this one en route to the Black Knight Fortress one. The next beacon you're then going to head to is north of the Grand Exchange in the low level wilderness, so literally directly northeast of Edgeville, and this one requires level 52 Firemaking in order to fill and light. Now the next two are right next to each other, so it's up to you which order you do them in, but you may need to go back to the bank and get some more logs. So there's one that's directly north of Varrock Castle, and that requires level 53 Firemaking to fill and use, and that's the one that you provided the keeper with a white tree fruit. And then there's another one which is just north of the Jolly Boar Inn, and that requires 48 Firemaking to fill and light. So for me, I went back to the bank to restock. I then used the Wicked Hood to teleport to the Earth Altar, Mind Altar, I forget which one it is, and then I headed straight north to the beacon from there, and then went to the one north of Varrock Castle. But again, it's up to you which way you do that. They're both right next to each other. Then the next one is near the Limestone Quarry, which is northeast of Varrock, and it's just near where the Odd Old Man is with the Rag and Bone quest, and this requires level 43 Firemaking to fill and use. And then that should leave your final one, which is near Blaze Sharp Eye, northeast of Varrock and south of the Temple of Patadomus, so literally right next to the river and the border between Mauritania and Varrock. So quickest way is either to run from there, or if you need a bank, teleport to the Canathis Lodestone, use the bank there, and then obviously head through the temple that way, obviously using the agility shortcut if you can do that. And that requires level 43 Firemaking to light and use as well. And that should then bring you to the end of all 14 beacons. So that should have been a sufficient time for you to do all of that. It should only really take about 10 minutes maximum, if I'm honest. You might need a couple of extra minutes depending on how many trips to the bank you use. Obviously, if you had level 92 Firemaking from the start of this, you should have been able to do that all in one go. And obviously, those of you who aren't quite at that level yet, obviously you would notice that it kind of started from the higher level ones and work their way down, so you obviously can start from whatever one you have the level to do so. However, I would recommend that unless you're able to light 6 or 10 beacons, there's no point in doing it because you won't actually get any reward for it. Other than experience, you need to be a minimum of 6 for the ring and a minimum of 10 for the flame gloves. So overall, not a really difficult mini quest, it's more the preparation around it and making sure you have the resources to obviously get to the bank quickly and get to between all those locations quite quickly. If obviously you found the first time you didn't have quite long enough to complete it all in one go, then obviously give it another go, and maybe if you're still struggling, that you can obviously use the higher level logs. That will give you a little bit longer, but to be honest, with the money it's going to cost you for them, it's not going to give you that much additional time. So again, a lot of it is just practice makes perfect, and that I obviously got to get used to the route when I was doing the preparation, so I knew in my head what way I had to go. So whenever you've lit the beacons, whether it's 6, 10 or all 14, you then want to return to King Rold in Varrock Palace and speak to him, and he'll give you rewards based on how you've performed. So, if you've obviously completed all of that in one go, you will receive the Ring of Fire, the Flame Gloves and the Inferno Ads, and you'll also be given experience for every beacon that you lit, and you would have been granted that while actually completing the mini quest. So as I mentioned at the beginning part of this guide, the items are quite useful. So obviously the Ring of Fire will grant you 2% more experience per log when using Firemaking. The Flame Gloves will again also give you 2% more experience, but if you wear them at the same time of the Ring of Fire, it will grant you 5% total instead of 4, so a little bit extra Firemaking experience. And then the Inferno Ads is quite a useful item. So the Ads functions as a dragon hatchet when used to cut trees, but also as a rune pickaxe when used to mine ores, so it's basically a pickaxe and a hatchet combined. So when using the ads to cut trees, there's a chance that it will instantly burn any logs received for wood cutting and firemaking experience. Obviously level 92 firemaking is needed to wield the ads, and obviously you need 92 firemaking to light all the beacons anyway. And using the ads as a hatchet or pickaxe requires 61 wood cutting and 41 mining. The ads cannot be added to your tool belt though. And also obtaining the Inferno Ads is a requirement for you to complete one of the Varrock Elite tasks, which is to use an Inferno Ads to incinerate a log cut from a tree you've grown in the Varrock Palace tree patch, so you're going to need that if you want to complete all the achievement guides as well. So yeah, that brings us to an end of my guide on the Beacon Network mini quests, whatever you want to refer it to as. So I hope you found the guide helpful. Obviously, if you find that you want to mix up the route a little bit to suit your kind of levels and sort of restrictions on how to get to various places, obviously you can do so. This is obviously just my personal recommendation on how to do it, but I would obviously sort of stress that unless you're desperately after those items, might as well wait until you have the required Firemaking level in order to do the Beacon Network all in one go. Otherwise all you're going to have to do is go back and repeat the whole process again for all 14 once you have the level. So that's what I chose to do anyway. But yeah, I hope you found this guide helpful. If you do get stuck at all, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll help you out as best I can. If not, thank you for watching. Please make sure you like, favourite, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to share with your friends. Cheers everyone, bye bye.